Hey everybody, Nick here. I goofed and forgot to record the video for the first 15 minutes of this episode. So if you're watching us on YouTube right now, you'll see our faces in about 15 minutes. Sorry about that, guys. See ya in the episode. Pew. Hey everybody, welcome to Smashing Game Time. We are two brothers and two special guests going through gaming's back catalog of yesteryear. I'm your host, Nick. I'm joined by my brother who has signed the Stellar Blade petition 3,000 times. It's Josh.
I don't know what that petition is, but we got a buy one, get one free deal.
Josh, we got to stop the censorship. That's what it is. But we'll get to that later. Also joined by us, we have, that's right, two guests today from 321 Backlog. It is Alec and James.
Hello.
Hey, hello.
For those watching, Alec is the longer beard. James is the shorter beard.
That's exactly how we do our intros as well. So
And
perfect.
they've both also signed the Stellar Blade petition. Not as much as Josh, but they were telling me beforehand. Guys, thank you so much for coming onto the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, I love your guys' show. I think the first episode I heard was either Inside or Cocoon. It was one of those puzzly platformer games. And you guys have been doing some really good episodes lately. Firewatch was a recent one that I listened to, and it made me realize that I still need to play that game.
So good.
Is it my understanding you both played Metal Gear Solid for the first time ever recently?
First time for me. James,
No,
it was
I've
probably
played
his
it.
50th time.
Okay.
Yeah, 50th time at least. Yeah.
It's a classic, so I'm glad at least one of you, least one of you have experienced it almost as much as I've experienced the second one as much.
I've played the shit out of that too.
Oh,
yeah.
the second one is just once you realize that they're just fucking with you. Once you realize that they're fucking with like sequel expectations, it just becomes the best thing ever.
I know they really like the fourth wall breaking and just like the awareness of the game itself was, I don't know. It was like funny when I played it, but then as an adult it's kind of breaks my heart, you know.
Well, and the more into the future we get with all the deep fakes and everything going around, it's like, man, Hideo Kojima really is an asshole, isn't he?
Yeah, a smart asshole.
I more appreciate the aspect of making fun of 80s action movies with 3, Snake Eater.
Yeah,
Plus climbing the ladder. Like, that's the most iconic scene ever.
Did you play Blood Dragon? The Far Cry 3 expansion DLC thing?
But I've seen a bunch of clips of it, and I think it would be my jam. It's
great, man.
That was around the time I wasn't gaming too much. I want to say that was like mid 2010s, right?
2013.
I mean,
2013.
Yeah, it wasn't this decade.
Stop it! You're making me feel old. I don't like it. No, I go back and forth on if 2 or 3 on the Metal Gear Solid side is my favorite. I still think 2 takes over 3. I think 3 just gets a little too busy with all the different systems in it, and then the later half when you're in you're in the bunker or the headquarters or something, wasn't really vibing with that side of it. But I digress on the Metal Gear talk. I could talk Metal Gear with you gentlemen for days. Everybody, this is Smashing Game Time. Today, we're talking games, we're talking news, and then at the end of the show, we're doing a top 10 list for top 10 video game, not applications. I almost said applications. No, Josh, help me.
I've drawn a blank.
He doesn't know either. Adaptations. You know what it is? It's because I feel like there was a period of time in the recent 10 years where we've changed from adaptions to adaptations, and nobody told me. Nobody told me at all.
No one even told me what that meant. What's the difference?
I don't know, and I'm scared. I'm scared to ask. It's too late. I'm too old to be asking these types of questions. But we're going to look at top 10 video game adaptations. We're doing it live, folks. We're doing it off the top of our head. With the news that Fallout is the second most watched Amazon show ever in their history, right behind Ring of Power, which I have no idea how that happened. I figured it was a good time to, rank some adaptations. But before we do that, some show notes, stuff to do here. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Apple, Spotify, YouTube Podcast, and YouTube proper, where you can see all these wonderful beards and faces. They're all here for your viewing pleasure. Fuck the algorithm, tell a friend. That's right, word of mouth is king here. We don't fucking bow down to the algorithm. Funny enough, I had a request from a podcast that's about algorithms that wants to be on the show.
Yes.
I'm going to pass
called
some
Fuck the
emails back and
Friends?
forth with them and see if this is a gotcha. I wonder if they're going to try and got us.
I would love a challenge, please.
The joke's on them. I won't put the episode out if they get me. Last but not least, we have a website, smashinggametime.com. Go check it out. The podcast lives there. When I'm writing and I'm not too busy, we've got words that live there. In fact, now that I'm done with my Mythic Quest for my Paramount Fellowship application, I think I'm going to be writing over there a little more. So check out the website over there. Without further ado, let's get into what everyone is doing. I'll go first because I have a shorter list here. I'm still playing Wolong Fallen Dynasty. I have the complete edition on Steam. I'm reviewing it for Game Chronicles. Again, this was one that I got back in February, and it was buggy as shit. And I told my editor, I'm not playing this until these bugs are patched out. And spoiler alert, they haven't been patched out. I'm playing the game right now, and it's pretty good about giving you a companion at all times who is a Chinese warrior from Chinese history. And I'm at a point right now where I know I have a companion, but every time I load the game up, he is nowhere in sight. So I think my companion just completely bugged out of the game, which is very unfortunate because I'm on a boss where I kind of need them there to distract the boss and take all the aggro for me while I attack them. Otherwise, I'm getting better at it. I hate Souls games. I'm just not very good at them. I don't have the patience for them. I don't want to play a boss 90 times, even though I basically fought one today about 90 times. But I'm getting to the point where it's like, no, okay, I know all your moves. I know your tells. I just need one really good run to beat this guy's ass. Hopefully by the next time you guys see me, that review will be gone. It'll be out of my docket. It'll be out. I'm getting tired of playing Wolong. I don't want to play it anymore. That won't show on the review, but be on the lookout for that. So that's about it on the gaming side. I've been reading more comics. So I finished Rogue Sun, which is part of the Massive Verse out of Image Comics. And, I still needed something new. I'm caught up on Radiant Black. I'm caught up on Rogue Sun. All the other mini-series I've run through. Another ongoing series that ended. So I think the only one I hadn't touched was called No One. And so No One's setting is set in Pittsburgh. It's about the string of murders. Basically this hacktivist puts out, so let's say it's Josh. Hey, Josh did some really bad stuff. Josh, you have 1 week to put it out, or else I'm going to let the world know everything. So this hacktivist is doing this to people, and then months later, those people are being picked off one by one. And so people think it's this guy who is called No One. And so what this comic does is follow all the different people attached to it. So it follows like the news reporter who has a podcast on this mysterious hacktivist. It follows the lead detective. It follows the son of the detective who was like the first killer. And there's like multiple versions of a kill. It's really enthralling. It also has a companion podcast. So when you finish an issue, you go and listen to the podcast, which I forget the one actor's name, but I know Patton Oswalt's in it. And they're a little half-hour podcast. I think it's a send-up or a mock of like modern like mystery podcast and like how obnoxious we all are with our views on things. I know the irony of me saying that in a podcast. I do not fucking care. But I really like meta stuff like that. I've only ever seen V for Vendetta, but it is giving me V for Vendetta vibes because all the people being picked off are like leaders within Pittsburgh.
I mean, I was going to say like V for Vendetta meets The Ring for superheroes.
It's really cool.
For a superhero.
It's really cool. I have 2 issues. Actually, I have 4 issues to go because I picked up 1 through 8, but didn't get 6. So 6 is on the way in the mail. So that's like the 4th time that's happened to me in collecting comics since I started back in March, where I get a bunch, I read all the ones I have, and then I have like a gap that I have to wait for the thing to get in the mail so I can finish. But I'm hoping they don't reveal the identity of No One, because V for Vendetta kept it like where we didn't know who V was, right, Josh?
Yeah.
I think that's the proper way to go when you have a vigilante like that. I don't need it to be anyone. I need to know the fact that that could be anyone. That could be, dare I say, no one. But that was Nick's Comic Minute. I'm trying to reel that in, but every time I finish like a series or a mini series, I end up finding something else. It's a dirty habit. I wouldn't recommend it for anybody. Last thing, I mentioned it at the top of the show. Mythic Quest, I finally wrote my spec script. I called it Amnesia Fortnite. For anyone who saw the Double Fine documentary from last year, they do the Amnesia Fortnights between big games or like when they need a break. And they all work on like 4 games and get them done in like 2 weeks. So I did an episode about that where that's going on, but in the background they're having a lot of layoffs. And what the joke ends up being is that all those people who get laid off get bought up by another company that's in the basement where Mythic Quest is. And then so by the end of the episode, that company that has all those employees is now working on the next Mythic Quest expansion as a contractor. So I thought that was pretty fun thing to do. Finally submitted it. It's out into the world. I don't have to mess with it anymore. I can play more video games. I can just goof off more. I can be more fun. I can be a more fun guy. But that's what I've been up to. I'm going to pass this off. Who do I want to pass it off to? I'm going to pass it off to Alec. Alec, what have you been playing?
Oh boy, to my greatest chagrin, I hope I'm using that right. The gaming group that I'm in, we jumped into WoW Classic. Just the worst idea. No, it's been fun. We got caught in the Helldivers 2 shenanigans when that came out. And that took up weeks of our time. And then for just me, well, actually for the podcast, we did play Dave the Diver, which was actually surprisingly fun for what it is. And I found a game on PlayStation Plus called Sifu that I logged maybe an hour into. It's like a I forget which you're like a martial artist on a quest for redemption, and it's a beat 'em up, a lot of like combo fighter moves and stuff. Really good animations and stuff. I've been really happy with that for it being a free game on PS Plus. So couple other things for the podcast that we played recently. We did Firewatch, like you mentioned, but that was a couple weeks ago. We did the second one of the Ori platformer games, the Blind Forest, and then Will o' the Wisp. We just knocked that off, so that'll be coming out, or I think it just came out. I think that's about it.
The Will o' the Wisp, I feel like that game kind of came and went. Like, it came out at a weird time for Xbox. I want to say it was near the Xbox One's lifespan. And those guys just had a game come out, didn't they? They did like a Diablo that came out, I want to say last week.
Oh, I haven't.
I remember seeing it, but not like putting any like emotional investment into the release of that. I don't know. I'll probably end up playing it one day because I feel like I like that studio, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't need to add anything else this week to the backlog.
Right. I don't need another top-down beat 'em up. I hardly got through the ones I had last year. I don't need another one.
Yeah. But no, that's been it. I honestly, now that our little weekly gaming group has kind of transitioned from Helldivers over to WoW Classic, that's been taking up the majority of my gaming time, is trying to catch up to whoever has been playing more than I have, and it is a slog, that classic version. So, but yeah, that's been taking up the majority of my time recently with gaming.
Let's pass it over to James. James, what have you been playing?
So there are some similarities in here. I was part of the friend group that started back into WoW Classic.
You sick fucks.
Dude, it's funny because we're playing the Season of Despair or whatever the hell, depravity, whatever it's called, disappointment. But it's kind of funny because I think everybody that enjoyed Classic has enjoyed all the Classic stuff about it, but we don't really seem to like all of the new stuff. So I just feel like it goes to show like it's a good game, like the way it was. You know, they didn't really need to do it a whole lot. So that's been the majority of my time. But we had some people stay at my house, and we were trying to come up with a game that was like fun that we could just pick up while we were waiting for like the pizza to get here or whatever. And I put on Vampire Survivors. I played it very briefly in the past, but playing it, and then like, you know, you die, you hand off the controller, somebody else takes a turn, and then when we stopped playing it, I needed to keep playing it because it's fucking addicting, dude. That game is fun, and if anybody's not familiar, it's like it's a survivor game, I guess. It's kind of reminds me of like Smash TV a lot back in the day, but you don't aim your weapons or anything. Like your attacks happen automatically, and you just have to avoid. It's like a bullet hell too, but you avoid like all these enemies on the screen, and then you upgrade abilities, you get experience, they upgrade automatically. You can, at some point, you get to pick a new one, but there's different characters, they have different stats, different strengths and weaknesses, and man, it's addicting because it's short bursts. Even if you lose really quickly, like you pick it up and try again. And there's a lot of luck involved. And then some other game, a Yuden Chronicles 100 Heroes. It's like another one of those JRPG games. I got it on the Nintendo Switch, and I haven't gotten into it enough. It's like I tend to play games like that before I go to bed, and I tend to play games like that after I've worked like 14 hours. So,
when you do that, don't you want games like, is this a game you can turn your brain off and be like, okay, I don't have to this sounds like a Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Given the
it's similar to that. It's
Okay.
like the spiritual. We were saying the spiritual successor for Suikoden or whatever. Whatever.
How am I the only
Yeah.
one that can pronounce that one? Right?
I don't know, man. Can you put it phonetically spelled on the screen for me?
I do not have that power. On the Vampire Survivors end, I hadn't even considered like the party element of that. Of the, all right, pass it. You died. You took 20 minutes and you died. Give it to Tony over there. I'm gonna go eat my pizza. I hadn't even considered that aspect of it, or playing it on like a screen bigger than a PC screen.
Yeah, so we had it like Steam Deck docked and on the TV and just pass the controller back and forth. But I got to like 28 minutes, and I guess if you hit 30, then the game automatically kills you, and that's how you know you've like completed the level. I got to 28 minutes, and like I was like looking at I'm so fat. They opened the pizza box, and my attention went to the food, and then I died, and it was like that split second that killed me. So I spent like the next 4 days trying to beat that level again because I had just everything lined up perfectly. So the next like 4 days I would play like for an hour, and I finally did beat it. But yeah, man, it's just like you get beat down and you want to keep going back to it. So
You had to recreate playing it that one time. You'd have to be anticipating a pizza while you're playing it, and then open the pizza. And then you have to adjust where like they open it and you don't look, and that's when you pull through and get those last 2 minutes.
I got my dad to come over and like open pizza boxes to try to like do the Tiger Woods thing to try and help distract me so that I wouldn't fail.
There's no pizza in the box. It's just it's part of the training. It's like to get you. Nope, not looking. And then when there is actually pizza, then you won't. Oh, that's great. We're gonna write that down, Josh. Write that down.
Oh, trust me, it's in here. I already have an idea in my head.
Well, I know you guys. I now know you guys are sick fucks because you're playing WoW Classic. Thank you. Goodbye. They're never coming back. No, just kidding.
Yeah, perfect.
I was curious, and while we've been chatting, I went back and looked at the retail they call it now, which is ridiculous. I checked how much time I put into that game over the years. I put in 67 actual days. Like,
I don't even want to look.
This is a game that I wrote off 6-7 years ago when I last played it. So anyway.
That's me with Fortnite. I'm like, if I actually opened Epic and looked at how many hours I put into that, I would feel shame, and my ancestors would look down upon me and be like, no, they would be really upset. They'd be like, hey, we struggled, we lived through the Great Depression, and you have 100 days in Fortnite.
I've done worse.
Man.
I've done worse to disappoint my ancestors. It's okay.
They all look down, not smiling upon us to this day.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Josh is here because that means Josh had to pull himself away from Stellar Blade long enough to let the friction die down and join us for the podcast.
It's been quite a challenge actually. Forearm hurts a little bit. Eyes are glazed.
Everything's
said
glazed.
3,000 signatures. It's a lot.
He no longer
A
has
lot
a
of
wife.
signatures. She left me. She left me a long time ago.
He just won't stop talking about jiggle physics. I'm out.
Dude, what is
There's a
this
nice
game?
little pre-order suit that I got, and I just fell in love with it. I haven't switched it.
Stop.
Hold on,
Just-
I
it
gotta
looks
make
so
I gotta make a
good.
quick purchase real fast. Be right back.
Yeah, I've seen ads for it, but I did not know this was like a legitimate game. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, literally,
What in
if
the
you look
world?
anywhere on social media, they're not talking about the story. They're not talking about the gameplay. We're talking about jiggle physics and how EA's Japan executive is pissed that they got a better rating than Dead Space.
So I'm a little more plugged in than Josh is on what's going on with Stellar Blade Online right now.
Yes, he is. I don't even know about the signatures. It's news to me.
Excuse me. So there's a petition. There's a petition going around right now to uncensor Stellar Blade because there are a bunch of neckbeards who are really upset because in the preview of the game, it would appear that the main character in like the dressing menu had like a higher pelvic bone.
What the fuck?
In the retail version of the game, the outfit that suggests that looks like it has a few more inches of cloth covering the thing. There's a petition that was started by Grums, who apparently is a guy that worked on a bunch of Blizzard games back in the day. Mark Kern, for anyone wondering. And so it started, and they got who's that asshole on YouTube that everyone hates? Asmongold? I don't know. And
Yeah,
apparently they've got
probably.
3,000 or 8,000 signatures. I don't know. I haven't checked in a while. But somebody posted so people were posting testimonial, and it's just all the biggest morons, biggest losers that you could imagine being like, I think we need to uncensor the game. I think this is wrong.
Is it a joke?
No, they are
No,
very
they're
very
dead serious at this
serious
point.
about their video game pelvic bones. So serious that they're all signing petitions multiple times and petitioning Sony to put out the pelvic bone cut. Like, come on, Sony, put it out.
Pelvic bone cut.
I hate that I know all this. I have kids. And
I mean,
know
I've
all
been
this.
sucked into Stellar Blade itself, so I have no idea about this news. I've been
We-
playing that nonstop.
We were talking about our ancestors being shamed. Like the fact that I know this, they're like, "What's wrong with you, Josh? How is the game? All this talk. How is the game?"
Okay, so I personally think it's a decent game. I'm not saying it's the best game I've ever played, but for what it is, gameplay wise, like between the demo and the actual game so far, I've enjoyed the game much more. The demo, it felt like some of the controls were a little lagged. Like I felt like when I was trying to block, it wasn't very receptive to it. So when I was trying to parry, I was getting my ass kicked. Now that the actual game's come out, it feels like they've fixed that. Everything in the game I've enjoyed so far. The mechanics are good. They have wall running that feels good. They've got a gun mechanic. I mean, literally, I just did a whole section where you just use your gun. All of it feels fantastic. There's not a single thing I don't like. But my
Except for
biggest
the
issue right
pelvis.
now is I can't remember who it was. I was going through TikTok and someone was like, "Hey guys, we have a problem. People are complaining that Stellar Blade is bad because it's like rough averaging around like a 7 out of 10. It's like I understand that lately we've seen a lot of 10 out of 10s or 9 out of 10s like with Baldur's Gate, with Helldivers 2 and all that. But he was trying to remind people like, hey, 7 out of 10 is still a good game. You got to remember that.
It's funny you mentioned that because
It's average.
IGN legit had to do a post on Twitter after the review came out to remind people like, hey, a seven is good, by the way.
Yeah, and it's true. Like, I'm sorry that you don't get to see her high bone, whatever the fuck you're complaining about. I'm sorry you don't get to see titties jiggling around. If you want that shit, go on Steam right now. I guarantee you, if not Sex with Hitler 3D, I guarantee you can find some waifu game on there for like $5 that has decent reviews. And if that's not your cup of tea, you're like, Josh, I want to see Eve. Guess what? There's AI generators that will build her for you. Just throwing it out there.
Josh is our resident Rule 34 correspondent.
Yes.
Like, if there are any horny listeners here, Josh has you covered. He can point you. He's a connoisseur. He can point you in the right way.
I'm just saying, like, who cares? Give me good gameplay. Give me DLC. That's the shit I'm going to complain about. If you're complaining about seeing if you want to see that type of shit so bad, shave the beard, lose some weight, go talk to a girl in real life. I guarantee you have a better chance there than you will in this game right now.
Josh,
But your chances are probably not great.
I'm not doing any of that.
Well, you're married, so you have the girl.
I'm married. I don't talk to women.
It's probably best to joke, but still, like I think fantastic gameplay. I've heard the story is a little generic. I'm kind of seeing that so far with where I'm at, but it's not like, oh, I'm done playing this because it's a generic story. No, I'm kind of interested. I'm invested enough. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play it through to the end, and I'll be the judge of it. Because honestly, I'm not gonna listen to somebody who sits there and critiques games but doesn't know how to build them.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you pulled yourself away from it long enough. I can't wait for the new Hellblade comes out in a few weeks, and that's like another slasher type game. I can't wait for like the comparisons there, where they're all like, "This game isn't sexy," which I don't think the Hellblade.
She has facial hair.
I don't think the Hellblade game does that. I think Hellblade is a little closer to like Ninja Gaiden and like is a little more serious. Don't they like dabble in like mental health issues?
Oh,
like,
it's very. I mean,
topics?
if we're gonna compare it to the first one, it's much darker, much darker, and much harder too.
And it's gonna be on Game Pass. Josh, what else you been playing?
Still going through Ratchet and Clank Collection. I didn't touch it nearly as much. I probably put like 30 minutes into it, but like I said, Stellar Blade. Oh, Stellar Blade stole my heart and my forearm.
What? Enough. This game has got. There's been enough ink and other stuff spilled for that game this week. Enough. Enough.
Finished my review for Skier Ritual, so I did play that a little more. I honestly like it more than I did Call of Duty Zombies in general. Like,
this is the fantasy zombies game, right?
Not like dark fantasy, like dark steampunk. Yeah, I just think all in all it was a little better. Like only because it's not just okay, survive these many rounds until the end. It was okay, you can do that until you die, or you can follow the objectives that there's 4 levels, each one adds on to the story, and each level has their own unique bosses and unique objectives.
And you've got a review for that up on the Game Chronicles, correct?
It sure is.
Go read that, folks.
Go read it. Enjoyed it. Really good. And then I also am reviewing Remnant 2's The Forgotten Kingdom DLC. Also, really, really good. The graphics, like the level design is really good. The architecture is really cool. As far as story goes, by itself, it's really good, but adding it onto the base game, there's not much there because it's a roguelike. Let's face it, it's kind of hard to give it a true story. All in all, really good so far. I'll have that review out, I think, by the time this comes out.
Are you playing that by yourself?
Matt was gonna try to play it with me, but he's been too busy playing Fallout 76.
Sick fuck. That reminds me, we need to jump into that.
I know. I haven't touched it since then, but
For anybody listening, I don't know if it still is, but it was free on the Microsoft Store if you used your Amazon Prime account.
Oh, that's really smart.
Yeah.
That's really
Too
smart.
late
So
for
if
us,
you want
I
to get a
bought
copy of it for free,
Yeah.
build that backlog, baby.
Get that back.
Trust me, I've got like 200 games on Steam alone. That's not even talking of the old Xbox games or even the PlayStation games right now.
Don't even get me started on all the free Epic games throughout the years. You think I'm gonna touch all those that aren't called Control? It's not happening. It's not happening. Josh, you got news for us?
Oh, we got a lot of news.
All right, take us through it.
Read all about it. Latest football scores. Morning paper. Morning Star. Paper, mister?
It's time for old news.
All right. First off, Escape from Tarkov director apologizes for PvE controversy. This is from Green Rant, written by Lance Gauss. Everybody here familiar with what's been going on with Escape from Tarkov?
More money,
A
less
little bit.
game.
Yeah.
So
really money hungry.
Yes. So for Nick, since he's not familiar, Nick, they released a new addition to the game called the Unheard Edition. $250. Basically, long story short is everybody who bought EOD, aka this guy, Edge of Darkness Edition, was told that, hey, this is going to be the biggest edition we have. You're going to have all DLC content going forward into the end of time, and there will never be another edition above it. Well, first off, we got a new edition out. It's $250. You get pay to win aspect items, and you get a PvE access, which means you can get onto a server and play a solo game by yourself with AI or with friends who have it, and essentially there'd be no wipes to it. You could just play it like you would a regular Escape from Tarkov experience, but just without humans. And all the EOD members are like, "Hey, we're gonna get this too, right? Because we get all DLC." Nikita, who is like the director of it, basically just said to everybody, "Well, fuck you if you're an EOD, and if you're a true believer, you'll buy this Unheard edition, and not at a discounted price. You'll pay the extra $250 to get it." It gets worse.
Why is anybody still playing this game at this point? I don't get. I've said this in the past, but like I don't like you do a season, you get all these cool weapons, you fill your locker, and then they wipe it and rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat.
Well,
like, what
Nick,
are you guys getting at?
Rust does the same thing, but they do it weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly.
A lot of games do that. Yeah, I mean Diablo has the seasons. You know, Path of Exile.
But do you keep?
They also have
$250
bundles.
You restart.
This feels like, because in my mind, like Fortnite, like we get a new season every 3 or 4 months. We get a new like battle pass, but I'm keeping the skins throughout the process that I earn. Like, are you keeping anything?
No.
That's insane.
But it gets better. That gets better. So then he backpedals and says, "Hey, everybody. So actually, we're going to backtrack. If you have EOD, you're actually only going to pay the small fee of like $50 to $60, I think it is, to basically get the PvE." And then they actually shut down their website, changed it to then show that EOD edition does not get all future DLC. So they changed the wording to the EOD edition while keeping the Unheard edition. And then it gets worse.
That's a pretty classic move right there.
Oh, it gets much better.
Oh my god.
Then they backpedaled that, which is where this apology comes in, and basically says, okay, no, so EOD members will get the PvE access, but it's gonna take some time because we have to make sure we have the server access. So they've already lied to us about having the optimal amount of servers to begin with. They've lied about saying EOD gets all future DLC, and they're still basically telling you fuck you.
I think you guys.
So what happens if? What happens if somebody already has the package where they're supposed to get all the DLC, and then they were frustrated but still committed, and then spent the extra $250? Like,
I would
where do you stand
backhand
there?
them because they're idiots.
Well, yeah, but they're out there.
They probably don't get the refund.
Yeah, I guess not.
I think what everyone needs to do at this point, anytime you buy anything for Escape from Tarkov, you just turn your credit card in for fraudulent charges.
There's actually people who've been doing that lately.
I had looked into playing this game because I had seen it been played online. This was a couple weeks ago, but it was excuse me, it was showing, I think, in early access or beta or whatever. Is it still
Forever?
not
it has
finished?
No. So they came out of alpha, I think it was 2016. It's been in beta since then. It's not fully released. They've removed a bunch of features that was originally in it when I started playing it. I think it was like early 2017, if not early 2016. So like right after it came out of alpha, basically, they've removed a bunch of features. I will admit that they've expanded on things, but not enough to be like. It's like they have Arena, which is like their arena version of the game, and it's like, okay, well, I don't care about that. I want the finished product that you promised. You released a whole other game, and now that they've done this, I've actually gone into my hard drives and I've wiped the game. I personally am done with it because I've invested so much time and money into it already for them not to only not finish it, not only provide a whole other game that I could give two shits about, but then they go ahead and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and release this $250 edition, and if you're not a true believer and buy it, we don't care.
But you're thinking about it, right?
No, I'm not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
He's got the credit card out.
No. Nikita can suck my balls.
I think
They
at
might
this point,
do $250. You can get a lot for that.
Yeah.
I didn't read what
I can go to a
but
strip club and get more than that.
I think at this point, platforms like Steam and Epic have to like kind of put their foot down and like kind of put a rule on like beta windows, because
But this game
It's
isn't
not
either
on
of
Steam
those, is
or
it?
Epic.
Yeah, they have like
It's
their
not on
own.
Steam.
You have to
Yeah,
go
it's
through
Battle
their
Battlestate
right
games.
through
They have
that.
their own
okay,
launcher.
okay. See, I thought
This is something that
I thought
that,
this was on
that
Steam
James
for
of
the
I
longest time.
this is something James and I talked about on the podcast a little bit a few times. Is we as like a gaming community, we kind of have to stop rewarding the like early access
Half-assery.
and beta stuff, because too many times, and I'm sure each of us have a handful of examples outside of Tarkov of we're getting a game that's not finished and we're paying all this money and they have zero obligation to actually finish it. Another one recently, not I won't go in too much of a tangent, but like Pow World. Like that's never going to go on out of early access. That whole Pocket Pair, that's their whole MO, is they're going to do a bunch of like early access games and then cash the checks and they're done. So I think we need to, as like a gaming community, like stop letting these companies say, we're not going to finish the game. We're just going to take what we can get up front. And too bad.
No, I mean I agree. Like the biggest one I can think of recently that just finally went 1.0 is 7 Days to Die. That had
Yeah.
been in beta limbo forever.
Well, and on the Pal World front, like services like Game Pass had a rule where like, hey, if you're in early access, you're not going to be on here. And
Yeah.
Microsoft cut a deal and was like, okay, you guys can be early access on here. And I think that's a slippery slope, because then
Yep.
like the amount of unfinished games you're getting in that service is gonna be super, like everything's gonna be like that. And I just I did not know they were not Steam or Epic. I for sure thought they were somewhere, but
Nope. They
Yeah,
have
I think
their
you have to
own
get
launcher.
their launcher for it.
Yeah.
Everyone listening,
That-
don't do that.
Yeah, I went to go look at this game and I was ready to drop money on it, and then realized it wasn't on any of these Steam or Epics or whatever, because I know like those other platforms like refund policy and stuff like that, and I was not confident in what I was seeing, so I was like, I'll wait, and I might be waiting longer.
Honestly, the wait might not be very long, because
Yeah.
moving on to my next news segment, which would just happen today, and honestly, it's a strong marketing move. Basically, on the heels of Tarkov's worst week ever, a new rival extraction shooter is looking to woo its disgruntled audience. That's right, everyone. The developers over at developers of Gray Zone Warfare basically said it's coming out tomorrow. As of this recording, it's April 30th. It's dropping. This is a PC Gamer article written by Ted Litchfield. Yeah. So this brings up the whole, they're the early, still like the beta development, releasing it early access stuff. But so far from what I've seen, they're actually listening to their community and making fixes to it still. So this is, I mean, it's still very much early into it. So was Tarkov. They were doing the same thing. However, coming into
I don't think you would ever approach a helicopter that fast. Fuck.
Yeah.
My God.
The one doctor from ER would not like that.
Yeah, dude.
Jesus. Yeah, so first off, a very strong marketing move. You know, people are pissed off at Battlestate
Yeah.
games, and you're already developing this game that's going to compete against it. And you're like, hey, we're going to release it early just so you guys can play it because you're all pissed off at BSG. I love it.
Yeah, it's a good move.
It's a very strong move. The only thing I'm worried about, well, there's a couple things. It's going to come out tomorrow. Everybody who's pissed off is going to go play it, or the people who've been waiting for it are going to go play it. So you already have huge server demand.
They're not going to have the server
Yeah.
space. It's going to
Yep.
it's going to
So-
be some long waits.
It's going to be a hot mess for the first, I imagine, week or two. It's going to be a hot mess. And then all the streamers are going to be playing it. So, I mean, everybody and their brother's going to be playing it nonstop.
Yeah.
So,
Has anyone else tried, like, didn't Call of Duty try this game mode at one point?
the closest, so I think they did attempt it. I know Battlefield tried to do something similar. It wasn't that good, FYI. Really, the closest thing to Escape from Tarkov right now is probably Ghost of Tabor, and that's the VR version of it. There have been some other looter shooters that dabbled in it, but they're just not that good or already dead. So as of right now, this is like a more closer comparison to it. And then there's another one coming out called I just did it last night with Matt. What did we call it?
I think the BattleBit remastered guys should get in on this.
Right.
They're pretty good at taking a format and running with it. I think they got the chops. They know
Yeah.
and it's Roblox, so they can monetize the shit out of it. It's just like Tarkov.
Oh god, it's gonna bother me now. I can't think of it. There's another game that's coming out that apparently, it's people are like, oh, they're gonna get sued because it looks like a lot of the assets. It looks very similar to Escape from Tarkov.
They all look the same to me, man. Like this, you could show me footage of that game, Tarkov, PUBG, and Fortnite, and I wouldn't know the difference in them. And I'm joking about one of them, but those games all look the same to me. I don't know. And DayZ, it looks like DayZ, maybe with a little graphical upgrade, but
Yeah, I mean,
Well, and even watching that menu even watching that trailer just now, that menu, I was like, oh, that's the Tarkov menu. That's the exact same thing. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna happen. But man, I wish I could figure out this other game because honestly, I told Matt last night, Nick, because we were looking at it. I said, honestly, if you were to put these back to back and ask me which one was Escape from Tarkov, I would think they both are because it looks so. I mean, mechanic wise, weapon wise, combat wise, looks so similar. I was like, holy crap, they probably are going to get sued over this.
it's a Ghost of Tabor.
If there's ever
I
been...
mean, with the type of game it is, it's so hard to like say one's copying the other. It's a military shooting game with guns that exist in real life, uniforms that to an extent exist in real life, real scenery. There are Unreal, I think, is one of them. There are game engines that lease or provide assets that all these games are pulling from anyway.
Yeah.
And coming into like game mechanics, that the idea of why, like going back to Pocket Pair for a minute, the reason they're not sued yet is you can't copyright game mechanics. So you can't copyright the fact that you're shooting an M16 and running for a chopper. That doesn't matter, as long as you can make it distinct in its namings and branding.
Yeah.
That's where you start getting in trouble.
I mean, so I just posted Nick, I don't know if you want to pull it up. I posted the link in the Word doc right above memes. I mean, this game, so
Steam
obviously
Power.
you'd have to be familiar with like watching Escape from Tarkov, but I literally, when I watched it last night before I signed up for the beta, I was like, oh my God, this looks so, like, it looks exactly like just different settings. It looks so
Yeah, we just watched this,
similar.
right? The guys with the helicopter, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
What is this?
I mean, everything like
This is called Arena Breakout Infinite.
It all looks like Call of Duty to me, Josh.
Dude, it's
Yeah,
the
they-
same game.
Yeah.
We just watched this. Don't.
That's what I'm saying. They
Don't
just
do
can't
this,
call them
dude.
certain blends in.
Very funny. Very funny.
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, I don't think BSG is coming back from what they've done. I think they're going downhill. And between Gray Zone Warfare and Arena Breakout Infinite, I think it's just a matter of time before it's gone. I think they've screwed the pooch completely.
Well, you know how
Some weird.
you know how
names.
Fortnite came out and ate PUBG's cake. If there's ever been a game that needed to be Fortnited, it was Tarkov.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like I
Tarkov
said,
needs that.
I mean, 7 years in development after releasing it into beta, and you still haven't finished it, but you're going to release arenas, and then you're going to bring in more content that is unnecessary. We're still waiting on maps. You have little spots where there should be like map locations, and exactly.
It's not
My
happening.
little brother Maddie's like, or our little brother Maddie's like, why would they do that? I'm like, it's because they're Russian. They've blown all their money and all the cocaine they possibly could do. There's nothing left. They need more. That's how they get shit done. They have to snort some more cocaine to have the energy to do it. And they don't have
And
to.
that's how you justify a $250 DLC because you're addicted. You think they're addicted.
But it's just not
Hey,
like literally
doesn't
other
matter.
than the PVE, and even then, I don't need the PVE. That aspect
Yeah.
is like I don't give a shit. I just need the game.
But if the PVE somehow is more efficient, you're going to have to get it because if you're that serious about being like in the best position possible, if the PvE is easier or you can get things that you can't get in the PvP part of it, you will be forced to do it.
There's only one benefit to PvE.
What is
You
it?
avoid the cheaters, and even then,
Yeah,
it's
well,
its own,
fuck.
like it's set. They're saying it's separate from the. So like if you do PvE only, if you were to come back and try to do like how everybody else is playing it, they're two different. Technically, they're two different games.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The obnoxious thing about PvE
interesting.
is that, and if Helldivers has taught us anything,
So you're
like,
getting 2
you're
games
still,
for 1. What a deal.
You're still gonna get assholes trying to min max everything. When
Oh,
like,
people do that all the time.
Who are we? Who are we? We're going after the computer here. We're not playing some guy over in Charlotte, or we're not playing some guy in LA. We're just playing this PC that plays the same way every
Yeah.
time.
And even then, if you have been playing it since day one, like I have, or not day one, but I guess day one since early access, you know that the AI right now is so strong. I mean, literally, they'll snipe you for like the ends of the map. Like you could be on corners of the map, and somehow with a pistol, they snipe you and you're dead. And you could have the best armor on.
Yeah.
Alec and James. This guy's buying the 250 bundle, isn't he?
No, I'm not.
I
buying it.
I bought 4 of them. You guys, happy birthday.
For me and all my friends.
Whoa!
Yeah.
No way.
No, I just spent all my money on
Oprah.
Stellar Blade. So
Yeah, I
See,
bought 4
I
copies
bought
of that
3
too.
copies of it.
I
Yeah, I
If
got
I look
extra
distracted,
monitors on the
it
way
was-
too.
While Josh was talking about Tarkov clones, I was signing the petition again.
I bought Nick a used PS5. It's coming to his house with a copy of Blade inside of it.
Why is
already installed?
Why won't it come out? It's sticking to the PS5.
Oh,
What else?
I
else
super
you
glued
got?
that bitch. It ain't coming out.
What? It's gross. Stop.
Moving on. Who here enjoys Elden Ring?
haven't yet.
That is on our backlog. We have
Yeah.
not dove in yet.
If you enjoyed it as
Backlog
much
and
as I
wish
did
list.
and wanted to blow your brains out when you faced Melania, I'm going to butcher her name. You can now buy her detached arm for $400.
Like, it's an actual figure,
Like-
right?
It's a replica of her arm.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
This is an IGN article written by Anthony Wood. Thank you, Anthony, for all of it. So, yeah, $389. There's only 3,500 units available, so it's a limited time if you haven't bought already.
Is it fully
yeah,
functional?
Well, it's her arm, so...
Is it fully functional?
Well, define fully functional, Nick. Do you want it to jerk you
Can I
off?
use it while I play Stellar Blade or not?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh,
You
wow.
just have to attach a motor to it, and you're good to go.
Oh, wow. That's very...
2 hands on the steering wheel, right hand on the unit. What?
So are they sending... First of all, are they sending one of these to Let Me Solo Her? Let Me Solo Her needs to have one
Oh,
of these.
I guarantee you, he has one already. It's a special edition one. It's been signed by every other important person over there.
What a weird fucking thing.
You know,
Josh.
What is that made of?
Plastic. Come on.
Yeah, I mean it's
$400 plastic, Alec.
Yeah.
You know what to do, buddy.
So yeah, it's cut off. But
Sponsored
this
by
right here,
Bamboo Labs.
how much was it?
$389.
400.
Yeah, for that you can get like 3 3D printers. I bet you whenever this releases, 2 days afterwards, there's going to be 100 different 3D models you can pull from.
Here we
think
go.
that's
Polyresin. It's highly
Yeah.
detailed sculpted. It's her prosthetic arm. It's gold hue paint. Articulated wrist includes metal base and metal wall mounts for 2 display options.
Can you say the wrist again? Say the wrist part again?
Articulated wrist.
That might be the episode title right there.
It's also life size.
you don't have to keep selling it.
Shut up.
I've
take my
already
money.
bought 3.
I've got 4 on the way, guys. It's your lucky day.
But yeah, just in time for the expansion.
Yeah, my expansion.
Yes. But yeah, I honestly, $389 for a life size arm. Is she going to solo me? Is the better question.
Yeah, there's gonna be a couple prosthetic companies going out of business because that's a pretty good deal right there.
Yeah. That'd be a good niche for prosthetic companies to like get some cosplay options in there. You
Yeah,
know?
like we've got who else?
get a fully functional arm.
Who was the guy from Hi-Fi Rush last year? Chai, like get Chai's fake arm. Yeah,
I still want Iron Man arm.
no, you don't.
Yes, I do.
We're moving on, Josh. We're moving on.
Moving on. So, who saw this coming? Xbox console sales are tanking. Yeah, I wonder
surprising.
why. This is all brand new news to me. This is an article from Kotaku written by Ethan Gotch.
It's Gatch, actually. It's Gatch.
I'm sorry, Gatch. I
Only because
apologize.
he came up in someone else's podcast, and I think someone called him Gooch at one point.
Oh,
Whoa.
God.
And
I'm
it's
not
like
that butchery.
it's not even close.
I mean,
Em-
so this
embrace
is
it.
obvious.
It's kind of close.
This is very obvious news. We've gotten all these huge releases from coming over to PlayStation. They're big. I think their biggest revenue right now is the Game Pass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Xbox Series S.
Yeah.
It's a good starter console, but let's be honest, you're better off getting the Series X for longevity.
Or
and
a
all that. But even
computer.
then, if you can find it still. I mean, I remember back in November, December last year, they were dropped down to like $350. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of pissed I didn't buy it at the time. But right now it's $450 and it's not worth it.
I'm willing to bet the most played like Xbox games right now are whatever the latest Call of Duty is, Halo Infinite, and then Sea of Thieves. I'm willing to bet those are like top 3.
Yeah,
It's I just saw something talking about this, and it's not quite that, but it's like the stuff that's on every console. Like it's like Fortnite, Roblox. It's weird stuff that
I think I know what
that you can get on anything.
I mean,
yeah.
let's
I
be
think I know
honest.
what
At this
chart
point,
you're talking
it's parents bought their kids the Series S, and they can only play free games because last time they played on the 360 or the Xbox One, they bought V-Bucks, and mom and dad had to beat his ass because you weren't supposed to use mom and dad's credit card.
As someone who accidentally buys V-Bucks from time to time, and on
Accidentally.
purpose, and
You're-
on purpose,
I said, you're a grown
Whoops.
ass man. How do you accidentally buy V-Bucks? Actually,
Leave-
are you sure?
leave
Are you
leave
above the age of 18?
leave the Fortnite kids alone. I have my parents' permission to buy these V-Bucks. Xbox's issue is they don't have the software. The software just isn't there.
I don't even think it's that. It's the content. Look how much exclusivity the PlayStation has compared
Very
to
little.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Well, look at the last big release for Xbox. What was it? Hi-Fi Rush. And as much as I love Hi-Fi Rush, that's not moving. That's not going to be your big up and comer. Like we're gonna sell a hell of a lot of Xboxes off of Hi-Fi Rush. No, that's your middle of the road game. Like everyone has an Xbox, and you're telling everyone like, hey, you got to go play that. I'm trying to think. What was like Pentiment was the other one, and then before that was Halo. They're supposed to announce new Gears of War this summer, but I think
cares?
Gears honeymoon
But I think
phase is like
I think I read this somewhere. So if it's not true, I apologize. But I feel like I read that they were going to. There's rumors. I think that's what it was. There's rumors that this might be their last console, and they're
Yeah.
not going to continue. So then, when we're talking about exclusives, where are those going to go? Are we going to start to see Halo and other older Xbox exclusives switch over to PS Plus? You know,
Well,
I see them doing exclusive on Steam, or they'll do their Microsoft store. They'll just do it
They
there.
might. Ugh.
the Microsoft
Yeah.
store. Don't even get me started on that.
Trust me,
fucking
I
store.
want Halo Wars 2 more than anything, and I think the only way I can get it right now is on the Microsoft store.
Game Pass. Get it on the Game Pass.
Exactly, it's
Yeah.
on the store.
So what
I
I'm
already own it.
surprised by is like there was like an Xbox Puck that was being rumored for like the last 2 years, and I think even Phil Spencer had like one of those like on his desk in the backdrop in a video somewhere. I'm surprised consoles haven't taken a more like Fire Stick, like Roku stick approach to things.
It's almost like the
where-
Nvidia Shield.
Yeah, where you plug this stick into your Roku TV and then you can play all your Xbox Game Pass games. Because I think boxes this big just aren't doing it for them anymore. I think
Well, there's so many things too. I don't think people realize it. Like you can get a Steam Link app on a Chromecast, and then it just has Bluetooth tech. You just connect a controller to it, and then you can stream from your PC to your TV with that. I think didn't Xbox like maybe going to be doing a handheld now too, because everybody
it's rumored
is.
that there might be one in the works. But
yeah, they've been
Again, I don't see the point in just a Steam Deck or anything, a cell phone with a controller attached to it. Like, just
I
do
don't
that.
think Microsoft needs to make their own. They need to maybe partner with some of these other ones that have already been established. You know, you've got the Steam Deck, which is performing amazing and being able to do everything that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And you've got what was the other one? The ROG Ally, which is already Windows based. That wouldn't be
Yeah.
a far leap to maybe have Microsoft talk with an already established one. And I believe there's also like 2 other ones I've heard of, like a Lenovo.
Yep, there's a Lenovo one.
handheld.
Legion Go,
Yeah.
and then the MSI Claw.
Hell, even that
Yeah.
crappy looking PlayStation one that just basically
Portal.
streams it from the PS5 was like
Yeah.
selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, but
And-
you could
yeah,
just get a
can you
Steam
eat-
Deck for the same
And
price.
all they fucking did was glue
Yes.
PS5 controller to the sides of a screen. That's all.
It's a
they
good. It's a
fucking
good
did.
controller. Come on, man.
It's a good controller, but they
Yeah.
just.
And James knows about controllers, so
Yeah. Okay.
But-
All right.
so-
James'
But here's-
favorite controller was the PS3 Boomerang. I bet.
But see, there's a problem that comes with
goes the
going to-
bongos.
Oh yeah, the DK bongos, dude.
Yes. But see, there's a
Yep.
problem that comes with going portable like that, or just stepping away completely from a physical console. Is physical copies of games. Like, look at the whole Ubisoft debacle of removing the digital content. We have no. If you bought that game, you don't have that content anymore. That's a huge
Right.
problem.
Bullshit.
No, trust me.
it's
I think
unreal.
Ubisoft is like they're up there as far as like, dude, you fucked up for the last time. Like, I'm sorry that your Assassin's Creeds are failing. I'm sorry that you can't make a good Watch Dogs game anymore. That you have to quit making them in development. If you actually sat down and promised everything that you're giving us and actually showed us what we were truly getting, we might actually come back and go, know what? Ubisoft is doing a great job. But time after time
We
after
wouldn't say
time,
that.
they've shown that the only thing they care about is money and Prince of Persia.
That Prince of Persia game looks pretty good. We're getting
No,
another
I
one in
agree.
2
I
weeks.
love watching you play it to the point where I'm like, God damn it, I have to buy it. But
Yeah, I acquired that game for sure.
yeah, exactly. But to sit there and tell people that they cannot have access to a game that they already paid for and basically telling them to fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anecdotally, I've become more physical media horny as of lately, given vinyl comics and like video games here and there. But I just don't see like maybe people are outraged with all the streamer stuff, like losing shows and losing games left and right. But I mean, Target's not doing physical stuff anymore, or
Best
doing
Buy's
doing.
not.
I'm sorry, doing less. They're doing less of it. They're shipping a lot of it from their warehouses. Best Buy's doing the same thing. So I mean, Josh, as much as I want us to return to a physical media timeline, I don't
It's
see
just
it
a very
happening.
slippery slope. Like, there has to be some change in it because clearly Ubisoft is leading the front on that of like, hey, once we're done, we're done. You don't have access to it anymore.
Yeah.
I really feel like it's stemmed. I want to believe it stemmed from a logistical problem. It's expensive to get these discs out, right? When it comes to shipping and all the logistics around that. So digital is, from that standpoint, cheaper. But I really feel like they are poising us to get used to the idea that they're going to start, those terms and conditions. We just say, "Yep, I read it."
Mm-hmm.
You're signing away. They're going to say, "No, that's not yours anymore," and they're going to be able to really maintain control, even when it comes down to what we're trying to enjoy and consume in our entertainment. So it's not good.
There's a meme out there that honestly, it makes me shake my head like, yeah, they're right. If digital games is not us owning it, then pirating us is not stealing.
That's fair to me as a consumer.
Yeah, like,
I love
that.
it.
That's 100% true. But you can't be mad at us for pirating a game if we can't own it because
Yeah.
there's no. What are you gonna do?
Another thing, just to bring this up, there's you also have to think about degradation of physical stuff too, to counter argue that.
Yeah.
In theory, you're not going to have a digital copy degrade, right? I wouldn't think. But yeah, I don't know, man. There's an argument for and against it, but I've even seen I saw a video advertised on YouTube today about disc media can start to break down too, because it is a plastic, thing, and the oils on your hands will cause it to break down over time. And it's just, I don't know, it's scary, man.
I think that goes both ways though, just because data is one of those other things where what's the shelf life of a SSD or a thumb drive or something like that. Guys, I don't know if you guys all know this. We're all going to die and be bones in the ground one day.
Yeah, thanks to oxygen.
Can't wait.
It's gonna. I can't wait. I'm counting down the days.
Yeah.
But that's why preservation, number one. Preserve it all. Hoard it if you can. Keep it from everybody else. Put it on a shelf. Yeah, that's how you preserve stuff.
I feel hopefully this is kind of in the conversation, but when we talk about games for the keeping games are alive for the sake of like archival purposes and like seeing the history of this thing we enjoy in our entertainment so much. You know, a lot of people have to emulate some of these old games, and it it ends up being it is piracy to a certain degree. But I feel like I don't know, and again, I hope this is within the bounds of our conversation, but it would be nice if there was like a ownership shelf life of some of these games, which would be impossible like with Nintendo or Ubisoft. But like after a game's been out for 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is, that needs to go into like not necessarily public domain, but like into a archival
archive of some
database,
kind.
so
Yeah.
people can experience it, like, you know,
It is.
old books and other things like that. But I don't want it to be, I don't think it should be ripped from these companies in
Right.
like in a legal sense. I think they should be able to give this stuff willingly to a certain extent, just for the sake of it being something that should happen. You know, there's tons of games that I grew up with that if I ever wanted to show them to my kids are going to be damn near impossible. You know, and it's
Nintendo
sad.
is rolling in their golden coffin.
It'll never happen. It'll never happen. You know, but it's just I wish we could get to a place like that.
Well, that
Yeah.
what bugs me.
Well,
is
it is
like,
being
look at-
archived.
Yeah, being archived. Like what bugs me is like games from our like in our lifetime, like in the last 20 years, like the source code is gone. Like I think the most famous one I can think of is the original Xbox Ninja Gaiden. You can't find that original source. They can't find it. It's fucking gone. Team Ninja has lost it. Like they still have the source code for Ninja Gaiden Black, but if you ever wanted, like, you have to find a disc of Ninja Gaiden to play it, and Lord help you when all the Xboxes and all those discs start failing. Like it's gone. It's fucking gone unless someone's pirated it or whatever. So I agree with you. Like past a certain window, like I do think source code should be put into something, just because otherwise someone's going to put it on a thumb drive and forget it somewhere, and we're never going to know.
Yep.
It's just gone forever. Josh,
Yeah,
I think
this
the
is a long
silence is
one.
your cue.
Yeah, no, it's like that's a long one. All right, moving on to the last piece of news. Resident Evil 9 reportedly internally delayed. This is the Gamer article written by George Foster. So the Capcom insider basically came out and said, yeah, it sounds like, basically from everything I'm hearing at the office, it sounds like they were shooting for a 2025 release window, and it might not come out until, we might not even hear anything until 2026, 2027. And there's still a ton behind it. We don't know what's going to happen.
I'm not totally surprised. First of all, you look at their track record with any time they've got to the third part of like whichever Resident Evil, like whatever iteration of Resident Evil it is, they shit the bed. You also look at like how widespread they are with, they're still supporting Street Fighter. Dragon's Dogma just came out. I'm pretty sure they're working on whatever is next for Monster Hunter.
And we just came off of Resident Evil 4 Remake last year.
Exactly. So I'm sure.
Yeah, they've been pumping shit out.
Nobody's got it better than Capcom right now. They have like this very diverse body of work in the last 10 years.
No, and I'm okay with that because we're at a point now where it's like, okay, well, I loved Resident Evil Village. I loved Resident Evil 4 Remake. They both were fantastic. But now we're at a point where, okay, who's going to be our main character for 9? What's going to be our next remake? Because we know they're on a remake with them.
I don't even think it comes down to like who the main character is. I think it comes down to if they deliver a bad Resident Evil 9, that's all people are going to talk about. Like, sure, you can put out a banger Monster Hunter World 2. People seem to love Dragon's Dogma 2 for the most part, besides the boneheaded DLC stuff, which wasn't even that big a deal. But if you put out a bad Resident Evil 9, that's when people start saying, okay, who's buying Capcom? Who's snatching these guys up?
I'm looking at the past 15 years. 6 and 3 are the most controversial of them for Resident Evils. Like, and that's pretty good.
Five was up there too.
5
is
people
in
were
my
fine
memory,
with 5 until Chris started punching a fucking boulder. All right,
the meme saved the game, but
yes.
yeah, like
wait. Everybody was fine with 5 until what happened?
So, are you familiar with Resident Evil 5?
I thought it was the other way around.
A little bit.
Everyone
I just didn't hear
hated-
what you said.
Everyone hated 5 until he started punching a boulder. I thought you said it the other way around.
So the 3 big controversial things with Resident Evil 5 especially in today's climate.
Yeah.
White guy killing black people.
Yeah.
That's the whole game. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't even think YouTube will let you say that, Josh.
Well, I just did because it's the truth. The weirdest co-op experience you possibly could have.
It was fine co-op.
No, well, let me rephrase that. Not only the weirdest co-op, the weirdest AI co-op you possibly could have.
So when you solo with the AI, that AI is a little.
And Chris literally punches a boulder the size of a fucking house.
I thought the boulder punching saved the game.
That's jumping the
Wait,
shark.
and it exploded or what?
No, like literally he goes up and he's uppercutting it until it moves out of his way because he's hunted down by
Metal Gear
Wesker.
Solid.
Josh
Yeah.
didn't paint the context. So Chris is in an active volcano fighting Wesker at this
He's
point.
running from Wesker.
Okay.
at this
He's
point.
running from
Oh.
Wesker, and he's trying to get away, and there's a boulder in his way. And there's nothing he can do but fucking punch this fucking boulder. And you have to
gotta
quick
try.
action time it, and he punches
And it's
it
a
into
long
the-
time. Like you
Yeah.
are punching it forever before it finally rolls over into the lava. And then you have to jump over and have another quick action moment where you're trying to climb up because you just barely reached the ledge and grab it in time.
The boulder was my favorite character in Resident Evil 5. I digress.
Oh,
my
man.
point was Capcom can't have another bad number of 3 Resident Evil. They need to have a good one. So this being delayed is not bad.
No, I think it's a good thing. I'd rather it be delayed and be good than be Ubisoft.
And also, that being said, I don't think it matters what Resident Evil character you put in.
I think it does, and I only say that. Nick, you're not a true Resident Evil person, so shut the fuck up.
I've played them all. What the fuck are you talking about?
Stellar Blades collectibles include pages of an erotic robot short story.
Yes, that is
Fuck.
true. You also collect cans,
When
like drink cans.
okay, I was wondering where this was
Okay.
going.
No, like literally,
Oh, my
like
goodness.
when you grab the can, she does a different pose for each one.
You better close out of that before the news story
Does
pops up.
Hideo Kojima have anything to do with Stellar Blade? Because her doing different poses with the cans is just screaming Kojima to me.
I mean, honestly, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, Kojima, where are you?"
In the credits, it's butt shots Kojima.
I'm waiting for his character to pop out of nowhere and give me a mission.
You've got a great butt.
Are you ready to save America?
Oh my lord.
Too much. It's too. They're never going. Alec and James are never going to come back to it. You know what? We're not responding to emails.
Sex
from
with Hitler
random podcasts.
3D can collectible.
Kojima edition.
Kojima, what the fuck?
Hitler does a different pose every time you pick up a can. Josh, do you have
Oh?
a meme? Do you have a meme for us?
Oh, I sure do.
Meme.
Time.
Nick, I made a new
Please,
one for
please,
you.
please, just do the meme.
All right, so it's our wonderful Anakin Padme meme. Anakin's right here. We are releasing a $250 version of the game that will have new content, have a new game mode, and priority server services. Padme goes, great, so EOD owners will have access to this day one, right? And then there's the Monopoly Man, aka Nikita himself, the director and creator of Escape from Tarkov, broke. And Padme goes, right?
You know, Nikita, I've never seen James and Nikita in the same place, but I'm kind of.
I can see it.
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Is that the
Not your strongest meme, Josh, but.
No, it's not. But honestly, I had fun making it, and I didn't care about anything else. I still think last week's meme was perfect.
Josh is. At this point, when Josh is making memes, he's like, fuck Nick, I don't fucking care. He gets what he gets.
I was mad. That's why I made this one. I was mad, but I enjoyed making it because it spoke to me in volumes.
This is the first time where I didn't have to wait for the meme. Okay, we've got one more segment here. We're gonna do the top 10 video game adaptations. We're gonna do this live, so if one pops into your head, gentlemen, just rattle it out. We'll list off a bunch and then we'll narrow it down to 10. These are just fun little brain exercises. I'll start it out with a good one that's off the top of my head, and just to be kind of a fuck you to Josh's Resident Evil fandom.
Oh, your shitty Silent Hill.
That first one's a banger, dude.
No, it is a banger. I
When
won't.
when Pyramid Head shows up, skins that girl, and then throws the mound of skin at the door.
Yeah,
Anything
I will
else,
admit.
anything that was bad about it at that point, I had forgiven.
I can admit that. Yeah, I agree. The first after the first one, you lost.
I haven't seen anything after the
Was
first
there
one.
more
It's
than
awful.
was there more than 2 of them?
There were 2 in theaters. I think that there was a third one that went into straight to DVD.
That's
Oh, was there like a 3D one too?
yeah. That second one was a 3D one. Like when was
Oh,
3D
that was a
hot? Was
weird
that
time for
2009?
movies.
Like right around.
Yeah, it was like right about that time.
Shit was popping.
Avatar people. Yeah.
Oh.
Blue people.
Oh man.
So Silent Hill. What do you guys
I
got?
mean, I'm surprised that we didn't go right to like the best video game adaptation ever made into a movie. What the 1993 smash hit Super Mario Brothers.
I was thinking in
Mario,
my head, but I'm
yeah.
like, do I want to be that guy?
Did you almost put subpar Mario Bros movie?
Subpar. that was a slip. It was a slip.
Oh. The only Super Mario Brothers movie worth mentioning.
The only
Dude,
one.
you know,
You know, I watched the one from last year. As a kids movie, it's okay. But
I really liked it.
I
I genuinely
liked
did
it.
like it, but
yeah, it was good.
you know,
I came.
can't.
Speaking of gaming,
Okay.
Street Fighter.
I haven't seen the movie or show or whatever.
I'm talking not only the animated movie. I'm talking about both that and the actual movie.
That Chun-Li movie was shit, Josh. I'm not letting you do that.
No, I'm not talking about
Rise of Chun-Li or whatever it was called.
No, I'm talking about the what was it? It was like 80s, like
Yeah,
late
there's
80s?
I think it's called Street Fighter 2 the movie, but there's no Street
That's-
Fighter 1 the movie.
No.
And this is
So
I know what you're talking
yes,
about. This
you
is
know
the
which
one
one
where
I'm talking about.
this is the one where Chun-Li's naked.
Yeah, so that one is the animated one, but there's also a live adaptation one that they did.
I'll put it on there for now. I don't see it sticking around, Josh.
I don't either, but you asked for
I have
it.
not seen any of the Street
94
Fighter.
It sounds like it's
Jean-Claude
sticking
Van Damme
around.
playing as goalie.
So Street Fighter 2 the movie, the animated one. And I think we had an edited version of the VHS as kids because I had no idea. When I watched it recently, there's a shower scene with Chun-Li and she's completely naked and I had to stop. I was like, "Wait a minute, what the fuck? What, like, did I get like a
I remember my brother rented a Street Fighter movie when I was a kid, and I remember liking that movie.
I wonder why.
So
I don't know.
But see, we're being really creepy about this scene, but it's actually a really good fight scene between her and I think it's Vega.
Yeah, Vega.
It's a fucking baller
Sure.
fight scene. She gets clothed for the fight scene, by the way.
I mean, she gets her ass
Okay.
kicked too. The only thing that saved her was that elevator.
Yeah, what's his name? Guile shows up, right?
Yeah.
But she had already killed him by the time Guile.
Yeah, she kicked him into the elevator shaft and he fell to his death. And he comes in because she's like unconscious and she's practically like bleeding to death.
That's a great fucking movie. I'm gonna have to rewatch.
Spoiler.
That. Not because I'm being creepy.
No, it's a really good adaptation for sure. I can't say so much for the live adaptation. That one, not so much. It's got Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, leave that man alone. I'm gonna put the Resident Evil 2002 movie.
Was that
yeah.
the first one,
That
like where
first
they go
one-
under
yeah.
the?
That first
Yeah,
one
I
did-
liked that.
That first one did a
Yeah.
really good job of just like catching like that 2002 like scary movie vibe. And I mean,
Yeah.
it did enough to where like there are parts from that movie that we think back to and we're like, "Oh yeah, that was like the laser room." Like
Yep.
that was that movie. The
Yeah.
the liquor on the train, like that was intense. They
Mm-hmm.
did a really good job of the lab. Not so well in the mansion. The mansion kind of got left in the dust, but I
Right.
mean, it was better than all the other
they
ones.
did set up a good. Was it the second one is Apocalypse, isn't it?
I liked the second one. Yeah.
I like the first 20 minutes of the second one because the end of that first one, what they do really well is they give you that eerie, like, oh, this place was once alive and it's about to be like this dead, scary, like lonely place. And they have like this real
Yeah.
creepy, almost like Dawn of the Dead music playing at the end. And then
Mm-hmm.
they end up making the back half of Apocalypse an action movie.
It did fall apart. Yeah, but yeah,
I still
you're
think
right.
they set it up very well in the beginning, though.
And then
And then
Nemesis
that
was
whole
like
series
a rubber suit
just
guy.
kept getting better.
He was a rubber
Yeah,
suit
they did
guy.
Nemesis dirty. Not only that, but they gave him like humanity, and it's like, okay, well,
He
Yeah.
and he killed all this. At that point, he killed everybody but Jill.
He looked like
Right.
You know what they did? He looked like they took the Ninja Turtles costumes from those 90 movies and melted it down into one big guy.
One suit.
They're melting down themselves, actually.
Oh yeah, they're very creepy now.
Yeah.
Any
I want to put the Mortal Kombat movies like from the 90s. And also,
Yes.
I don't know if anybody saw the series, but that like it was 2021, I think. That was pretty good too. But
I have
still
a friend
think-
that wrote on that. Mortal Kombat TV series from what was that?
Yeah.
2021.
I think it was, yeah.
Was that the one that was on YouTube or started on YouTube?
I thought it was like on like HBO or something like that.
Yeah, it might have been
can't
like
remember.
It's a WB property, so it probably would have been on HBO. Yeah, HBO Max.
Yeah, but I remember thinking like it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Because I have very low expectations for this type of content.
Was Johnny Cage the like the lead in it? Did they,
I think he was.
okay.
Yeah.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
That one was pretty good. I'm not biased at all. I can't believe we haven't brought it up yet, but
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
We'll just throw that in there. I haven't seen Fallout yet.
I haven't
either.
watched either of those because I thought we were doing movies, so I didn't bring those up. But I haven't played The Last of Us, and I never got into the Fallout trend.
you know, Alex,
It's on my backlog.
there's this backlog podcast
I
I think you
know.
might be into.
You know, our Steam library is already like 400 games, and that's just Steam. It's like we're trying so hard.
Oh,
I understand.
you poor
Oh,
bastards.
there's too many games.
Make them stop. Make them stop.
Well, actually, speaking about games we played recently, I genuinely liked it. It wasn't the best adaptation, but the Warcraft movie I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, it
It
was
was,
pretty good.
I think,
Is that 2017?
2016. It was in that area.
Question mark.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was the story was a little not the best part of it. I wish they would have maybe gone for it again, but I don't think it did very well. So
I think money wise, it didn't make them as much as they thought it
Yeah.
was.
yeah,
But I did hear it was okay. It was all right.
Yeah.
how did
What
we
about
not
the
think of Castlevania and Arcane as well?
Arcane, I like.
yeah.
I've never
I
seen.
watched a couple episodes.
Castlevania. How
Castlevania is so good.
What is Arcane? Is that the
League of Legends?
League of Legends, yeah,
adaptation
yeah.
on
That's really
Netflix.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard that was super good, but I've never really gotten into either of those things. So
Yeah,
I started
I
watching.
got a couple episodes in and just got sidetracked.
okay.
I started watching Blue Eyed Samurai, and it was reminding me.
So good.
It was reminding me a
So
lot of
good.
Arcane, like the animation style.
Yeah.
I only got 2 episodes in, but I was sitting there
Oh.
watching it with my 1-year-old, and she doesn't know any better. But like once the nudity started popping up, I was like, "What kind of cartoon is this?"
Yeah, that was it was a similar situation. I had the kid for a day. I was off. I think they were sick or something, and I watched the whole series in one day. It was so
Shit.
good, so good.
I need to go back
Anyway.
and finish it. I really did like what I saw of it, though.
Yeah, they're gonna have to continue that story. It is phenomenal.
Is that based on anything, or is that its own?
I don't know actually. I haven't dived too much past the actual series on Netflix, but I should.
While we're talking Netflix series, I think this one really
I would say Cuphead. Yep.
Cuphead.
What?
Show. So Cuphead has a show, and it's very like 1920s cartoon, has that art style. It's very zany, very wacky. They find fun ways to include all the characters. Really fun dynamic between Cuphead and Mugman, being raised by their elder Kettle. The devil's a constant presence. I think it's a really good show. I watch it a bunch with my kid, and it's way better than it has any credit to be.
The Witcher.
Pokemon.
The Witcher and
The Witcher,
Pokemon.
yeah, that's good.
Pokemon, dude.
You know
Just
what?
put it-
Pokemon,
yeah.
you could do the series. You could do Detective Pikachu, which I thought was really good.
didn't
There's
see
tons
that.
of movies.
The sub series that they have that follows Red.
You know, I watched
Yeah.
Pokemon Journey, by the way. I do not recommend Pokemon Red. So it's like they restarted it, but it's Ash and some other random kid, and on the second episode they're riding the back of a Lugia. They don't even mention like Pokemon 2000 the movie. Like it's not canon to me, you guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's like, wait a minute. They're only in the second day of their adventure and they're riding on Lugia. I'm out.
Yeah, for real.
Speaking
It
of
better
being
be a
out, you
Pidgey.
throw in Halo.
Oh, are we
I've heard it's good, but I haven't seen it.
I hear season 2 is good.
I don't
The
know.
only
As soon as they
the only
showed
Halo I
Master
wanna
Chief's
watch is-
head, I was just our face. I was like, yeah, I'm done.
The
I don't
only
know what the fuck they're doing.
Halo content we should be talking about is Red versus Blue.
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed. And even then, that's gone now.
So the other
I
thing,
actually watched that a couple weeks ago. It is hilarious to this day. It's so good.
so Halo did have like a collection of animated shorts called Halo Legends. I want to
Yep.
say that came out in like 2010. That was really good. I had that Blu-ray for a while. I don't know what happened to it.
You probably sold it.
Probably need beer money. That's fair. Anything else? See, now we're trying to go
Ooh.
the further back
Dude,
we go. What do you got?
Did anybody like the Doom movie?
I enjoyed it.
I never saw
I
it.
enjoyed it for what it was.
That first person
When I watched
scene,
it, I liked it. The first person scene, dude. Yes, that was like I watched it. Alec, you'll know. Me and Mike watched it together with a bunch of people. And
Okay.
when there's a scene in it, like near the end of the movie, where they switch into a first person view, and he like
Right.
grabs the gun, and it's very FPS style. But dude, like me and Mike were like jumping up and down on the couch, like fucking high fiving. Just it was like
You know,
it's what we wanted, dude.
for that like view switch when
Mm-hmm.
the 2023 Super Mario Brothers did that like platforming.
Oh yeah,
scene,
that was cool. Mhm.
when him and Luigi are running to their first call. Like I got a
Yeah.
little jittery with that. So
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, I think
Tomb
what I love-
Raider.
Oh, that's a good one too. But
Ooh.
Sorry to cut
No, it's
in.
okay.
Yeah.
I was just saying. I think the only best thing about, or not the only best thing, but like one of the best parts about Doom is Dwayne Johnson dies.
And that's thank God.
Josh-
Only two movies have done that
Oh,
in
that
that
was-
time.
Josh-
Doom.
I
And,
forgot that was him.
Yeah,
I thought that was a completely different movie. Yeah,
Nope.
yeah, I've seen that.
yeah.
It's been a minute.
Him.
Yeah.
He dies in
You
that
might have
one,
watched
and,
it with us, dude.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
the other movie he died in? It's a spy movie.
probably Spy Game.
No, not Spy Game. It's the
The
comedy.
Mummy, the
It's got,
Scorpion King.
No, well,
He does
die.
die.
in
He
Scorpion
does
King.
die as a
Moana.
Scorpion King. Yeah.
Fuck.
Josh,
Moana?
you can't
What?
kill the Rock.
You're welcome.
You can't kill the Rock.
It's got Anne Hathaway in it
Oh,
as
Les,
love
Les
interest.
Miserables.
No, it's a
Jungle
comedy
Cruise.
spy movie.
Oh, I had a dream.
the rundown.
What's it called? It used to be a TV show back in like the 50s, 60s.
Oh, Get Smart. He was
Get
the bad
Smart.
guy. He was
Yeah.
the bad guy in Get
he
Smart.
was one of the bad guys in Get Smart. He died in it.
Oh, okay.
Josh,
Fast
he
and the
also
Furious.
dies in the other guys. The Rock has died in a lot of movies.
Okay, died as the bad guy is where I was getting it.
Yeah,
Why
can we
do you-
make a top 10 list of movies, the best movies where The Rock has died, so I can watch them, please?
I can only get so erect.
And
Even
for
bushes?
for Tomb Raider, specifically the Angelina Jolie movies, because I feel like that captured the gaminess
Yes.
of the Tomb Raider games. You know, they rebooted it to the newer version, which are good. I do like the newer ones, but I think the Jolie movies did a better job pulling that game concept in and being like out there.
While we're talking about
remember them
adventures, how do you
at
feel
all.
about that Uncharted movie?
Never saw
Not
it.
good. Wahlberg cannot act.
No.
Hey, I'm
And the fact that
hey,
they're
I'm
making
Sully.
him Sully
I'm Sully.
of all people.
Hey, I'm Sully.
Like I'm sorry, Sully's supposed to be much older than that. He's like, oh, I can't see without my glasses. Marky Mark, shut the fuck up.
hey,
Can't see without my biceps.
hey, Thomas. Hey, Thomas Holland. I'm Sully.
Sorry, kid.
So that movie sucked?
It was bad. I mean, it wasn't
I never
terrible,
saw it.
terrible, but it was bad.
It was bad when Wahlberg was in it.
Yeah, I honestly did. Tom Holland was fine. Tom Holland was fine.
Yeah.
I thought he
Does he
did a
die
good
at the
Nathan
end?
Drake. Decent Nathan Drake, not the best.
Yeah.
but
Does
How-
Wahlberg die at the end?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he lives.
Tom Holland does a really good job at kind of like blending into whatever character he's playing. He has a really good generic white guy face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kind of like the guy that played Cyclops, Marsdan in the Sonic movies, and it's a very good, like, they can just be whatever, right? Wahlberg and a couple other actors like him, like, it's always him, you know?
They're the same
Right,
person.
so-
They're literally the same character.
I'm gonna stop this marathon bomber. It's like, that's Mark Wahlberg.
Mark
Mark Wahlberg.
We might as well throw in Sonic too.
Yeah, Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg just envisioning himself stopping terrorists in whatever movie. He's like, I can play Mark Wahlberg stopping a terrorist. Sonic movies are pretty good.
We got in animated movies, and it's a game. Did y'all see the Angry Birds movie?
I've heard
did
good
see the
things.
first one.
Does The Rock die in it?
Yes.
He does. He
Yes.
does. In the first 20 seconds.
Ooh.
Oh man, I don't know if I have any more.
Top 10 list.
Yeah, we.
How many we at?
I think we emptied the chamber here.
Yeah.
We do one more brain spin real quick.
Twisted Metal.
Just, you know what?
What?
I've heard good things about Twisted Metal. I hear it's like
They made a series. I haven't watched it yet.
they did their homework.
I gotta watch. I loved that game. Dude.
Cyberpunk
I think, Cyber. What's that Cyberpunk show called? It's Cyberpunk.
and Edge Runners.
Edge Runner, yeah.
Talk about nudity. There was boobs in that one in the first like 5 minutes. I was like, again, sitting there with my kid, and I was like, oh, thank God that you can only see shapes. Did I just type in edgelords?
You did.
Cyberpunk Edgelords.
Edgelords. That's what they should have called that game. I think
When
the
did
biggest
this
issue with
Twisted Metal? It's new?
is that it's on
Within the
Peacock.
last year, I think.
Yes.
Jeez.
Cyberpunk came out like
Oh,
a few
cool.
months after Arcane, I feel like. I heard someone say,
there was an Assassin's Creed movie.
the Jerry Bruckheimer production.
Oh God.
Assassin's Creed.
Alec got it in there.
And I will shit on Ubisoft every day of the week. Assassin's Creed has been my favorite game line since the first one came out. They've had some shitters, and Ubisoft is a horrible company, but yeah, Ass Creed is perfect. Yeah,
Ass Creed.
Mr. Fassbender.
The Gears of War movies and show are coming out like in the near future, so I would hope they could be on this list, but it's not happening. I think.
Sorry, just I did write this down earlier, but for games that are coming out that I have very little faith in, Borderlands.
Oh my God.
Have y'all seen the
it
dumpster
looks
fire this
so
is going
bad.
to be?
I think that's going to surprise people. I think people are going to, because it was giving me the Guardians of the Galaxy vibes that they were going for.
I just don't agree with any of the casting that I can think of immediately.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah. What's the I forget his name, but the big black guy is played by Kevin Hart.
That's
Roland, yeah.
Roland's played by Kevin Hart. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and maybe it's funny because it's ironic, but I don't get. And there's so many characters that are just missing, like Brick. I want to see Brick in the movie, portrayed as by The Rock.
Well, and then you got Jack Black playing Claptrap. I'm like, ugh.
That's okay.
I
I
mean,
think
That's
that's
the only one I'm
okay.
okay with.
So I've enjoyed
Yeah.
all that Jack Black has done so far with voice acting has been pretty good, pretty decent. So like I'm okay with it. I'll give him that just because I can't stand the guy who actually does Claptrap's voice in the games. I'll allow it.
Yeah, I didn't
I
think
think
about
it's
it from that standpoint.
top tier.
What if I told you the voice of Claptrap was Alec, Josh? Huh?
Alec,
You've offended the
hate
man.
you. I hate you so bad.
I liked Claptrap in the games.
So I liked
thought
him in
he
the
was-
first
he
one, but I
was
think
fun
after that
and
he was just
comic
more
relief.
there for like the comedic effect,
True.
and it was more annoying
Yeah.
than it was funny.
It was both 50-50.
Like I think
Maybe-
I think the Psycho was better portrayed at that point than him.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Oh,
let's
all
start
right.
to narrow it down here.
Oof.
I'm okay with getting rid of Cuphead show. It's good. It's not top 10 good. Bop.
Okay.
Halo
When you're a
Legends.
Twisted Metal.
Assassin's Creed, you can get out of there.
Get
You can take
the
Doom
ass
off
Creed out
too.
of
It's
there.
not that good. Like
Yeah,
it
Twisted
universally sucked.
Twisted Metal also.
I haven't
there's so many
watched it.
better
I-
contenders out
I've
there.
heard good things about it, but
I
really do
it's
think
top
it
10
comes
worthy.
down. It comes down to the fact that it's on Peacock.
Yep.
If it was on Amazon,
Yeah.
everyone would have seen it by now.
Right.
Here, let me
You can take Doom off,
take
obviously.
Doom off. Let me take Doom off and then read this list back to everybody who's listening. So far, what we haven't taken off here is everyone in contention for top 10 video game adaptations. I almost did it again. Silent Hill, Super Mario Bros. 93, Super Mario Bros. 23, Street Fighter 2 the movie, Street Fighter, RE 2002, Mortal Kombat TV series 2021, The Last of Us, Fallout, Warcraft 2016 ? Arcane, Castlevania from Netflix, The Witcher, Pokemon, Detective Pikachu, Red vs. Blue, Tomb Raider, the Jolie movies, Sonic, Angry Birds, and Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Are there any properties that are basically doing the same thing? We've got Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter.
I think
Fighter movies.
I think if I was in
1993 can get out of there.
get what?
1993 can get out of there, but
By Mario.
And then I think the Street Fighter can be removed.
Yeah, the Street Fighter can be removed. If we were going to remove one Mortal Kombat, which one would you remove?
I guess the TV series, as
Yeah,
weird as that sounds, I feel like the movies set the tone at that time. They were like what every
And this was
edgy
the
teenager
90s
would, and
movie,
you know,
right? Yeah.
yeah, yep.
Because they had that 2020 movie. It was just okay. It was just okay.
I don't
I
remember
mean, I
it.
thought
even
it was
at
better
all.
than Conquest. Conquest was
The best part was that first fight between Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and then I just spent
Yeah.
the rest of the movie waiting for them to fight again.
I agree, but I still think Conquest was like, Conquest was so bad.
Warcraft
Dude, wait a
put
minute.
Too much...
Just for the record, I might be mixing up the series and the movie. I'm not sure.
The
So
first
Proceed.
the movies follow the exact first game, and then
Right.
Conquest follows 3.
Is I'm sorry, this has no relevance at all, and I probably shouldn't even ask it while we're recording, but the Mortal Kombat show, was there 2 shows by any chance that came out like in the more recent years? One of them was decent, one sucked,
So
or am
that
I just
2021 one came out. I think there might have been something like in the late 2010s. I
think there was like a Netflix one.
So
maybe.
was it Legacy, or that's the movie? Like,
There's
came
one
out.
that did come out within the last few years.
I think there was a Mortal Kombat show on Netflix that was absolutely terrible. Like, oh yeah, Legacy. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I tried watching that and I couldn't do it. Okay,
Speaking of bad Netflix shows, I think The Witcher
Maybe.
kind of loses it a little bit the longer it goes on.
right.
I agree. It had a
Fully.
really strong start, but it has dropped off heavily.
Well, and even with
Yeah.
the start, I remember like the timeline was just so messy. Like,
Yeah.
don't they?
I mean,
they go
so
over
are the
like
books though.
10 years.
They jump around a lot.
Yeah.
I hate when anything does that.
See, I think it would have been more fun if like they had explained that we were jumping ahead in time. Because I like the aspect of The Witcher where it feels like it's a weekly like, what's the monster of the week this week? I think that's when The Witcher's at its best. And I think it's at its worst when it gets into like the politics of the world and anything with like just the big picture stuff. Just gets messy.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say I would fight to keep it on there a little bit longer because I'm seeing some other stuff that could bump out. The Warcraft I brought to the table that didn't do a good job of they were trying to contain 10,000 years of like game history into 2 hours, and that's a really heavy lift. And Red vs. Blue is just a YouTube comedy sketch at best. Though it is hilarious, it doesn't really do anything for Halo itself.
I can agree with both of those. I think Warcraft would work better as a series. I think given
Agreed.
if they had decided to do it 10 years later, I think it would have been like an Amazon series.
Absolutely.
I think honestly we can get rid of both the Pokemon IPs there. Just
I wanna say
because
the only reason-
Pokemon back in the day was prime. I mean, we literally finally got. Not only did Ash finally win a championship, but now they're retiring him, and he's only 15. And has
And
been
yeah,
15
he's-
the whole time.
Way to stay young in 20 years. I think I can make an argument for keeping Detective Pikachu because it kind of kicked off this trend that we're in as of late of video game adaptations being really fucking good.
I guess you could, yeah.
That would
Let's
be
be
my
honest. A
argument.
majority of people didn't know what Detective Pikachu was until it came out, though.
Yeah.
But people
Don't
saw
they make
that
the-
trailer and like they're immediately like, "Yep, we're going to that. That's a Pikachu. That's a fucking
It was-
detective. We're going."
It was a little bit more accessible in terms of bringing more to the theater because,
Right.
typically you'd see, oh, it's a kid's movie, but this also brought the parents and the people that grew up with it. And it had, content and jokes that like the older generations could actually enjoy.
Yeah.
And what's the voice actor? Is that's Ryan? Not
Ryan,
Ryan.
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Had fucking Ryan Reynolds at his VO peak because I think he did that,
Yeah.
and then later, a few months later, he was Deadpool.
Yeah, they're
Might
very
have been
close together.
Deadpool first.
Was he
Yeah.
Deadpool first?
I think it was Deadpool first. Maybe it was Deadpool 2 was coming out.
Well, he definitely was Deadpool
Yeah.
first because he was Deadpool like forever ago in the Wolverine movie, right?
Oh, we're not counting
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was Deadpool first because I was seeing fan art of Detective Pikachu slash Deadpool, like Pikachu with Deadpool.
Yeah,
stuff
it was
on
probably
'cause they
about
were
the same time
calling him
Deadpool
that.
2 was coming out. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is-
Angry Birds, can that come off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could come off. It was
I don't even think
was a
kids
good
nowadays
movie.
know what Angry Birds is.
no.
Yeah.
I also think we can take Sonic off.
Oh, I don't know, Nick. We're getting Shadow the Hedgehog, and they brought Jim Carrey back from his very short retirement.
That man was not retired. He was just doing that to try and up his price for the next Sonic movie.
Hey, it worked.
It's like, you want me to play Eggman again? Not at this price. This is getting tough. I'm okay. I seem to be the only one that has any emotion towards Silent Hill, so I'd be okay with cutting it.
Well, okay, here, let's do it this, Nick. So we have. I'm not going to consider The Last of Us a horror. Oh, I got Charlie Horse. That hurts.
Are there any that just didn't really capture the game? Which I'm now going towards The Witcher.
I mean, as good as Arcane is, does it really capture?
No,
League
because
of Legends?
League of Legends is more of it's a MOBA game. There's not
Yeah.
really
Push
a
mid.
mechanic in
They're-
there to be like, ugh.
They're using
Rush
the
mid.
series to give a story
Yeah,
when
exactly.
there wasn't one previously.
I will
So
say it made me
Arcane-
give a fuck about League of Legends. I was like, oh wow, like these characters
Yeah.
are really fucking good. Wow.
Yeah.
But it's not going to make me go play League.
Yeah, I mean,
Hell no.
similar thing with Overwatch. Like there's no story there, but they really put some mental effort towards trying to make some story in their like trailers and stuff. Yeah, I could see Arcane coming out. Detective Pikachu. Well, this is rough.
So I was gonna say is with so we've got Silent Hill and Resident Evil 2002 for the horror franchise. Nick, which one would you think? Or actually, everybody here who's seen it and has played at least one of their IP games, which one captures the essence? And I'm gonna have to. And if I have to pick, I'm gonna say Silent Hill did a better job of picking up the essence of what the game is.
I was going to say on the other side of that, I think Resident Evil just because it was a better movie. Like the thing about being an adaptation is you don't have to capture everything about
True,
the
true.
source material.
No,
You
but
have
let's
to-
be honest,
What you
if you're
what you
gonna-
have to do is create an entertaining movie, and I think if you set everybody in this room in front of a couch and said, "All right, here's a Resident Evil DVD and here's a Silent Hill DVD," I'm going straight to the Resident Evil DVD because Silent Hill is good as good as it is and as creepy as it is. Resident Evil is probably a better movie.
But at that point, whatever you guys think. I mean, I'm for either or at that point. They both have good, strong arguments.
There is also because I'm on the fence with both of them, but there's also the argument of Resident Evil is zombie-esque, and that's few and far between. There are a handful of zombie properties to pull from. So
The Last of Us. I mean, technically, if you want to include
yeah.
for Fallout, you've got the feral ghouls.
Right.
That's
The Last of Us
technically
are spores, you guys. I don't want to put my dork glasses on, but they're spores.
they're basically zombies, though. Zombie-esque.
So here,
I put a vote towards keeping Silent Hill.
let me bold the ones that I think are going to end up staying on this list.
I want to say I think Silent Hill as a movie adaptation of a game, I think is a better, like more true to the source, I guess would be a way to put it. Resident Evil might be a better movie, but I think Silent Hill is a better video game adaptation.
Okay, I can.
Yeah, because Resident Evil was definitely more actiony than it was horror.
Oh yeah, she kicks that one dog in the face. She does.
And
like,
there's
she
not a
she
single
not only
mansion
kicks,
to be seen.
She roundhouse kicks it. It's kind of
How many fucking puzzles did she solve? That's a 0.
the one puzzle in the game nobody solved because it was the laser room.
Well, no, they solved it. They just all died.
Well, yeah, if you die, you solve the puzzle. Well, we'll cut Resident Evil. So I think Silent Hill makes the final 10. I think Super Mario Brothers 2023 makes the final 10. Anything on here that anyone thinks makes the final 10?
I feel like The Last of Us will, because it was extremely close to the source material.
And that's the first time I've
Could
ever
we-
seen something like that where people like kind of knocked it for that, and I was like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we picking that
Yeah.
apart?
Can we put Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat against each other? They're both fighter movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
Street Fighter 2.
Comparing those two.
Like, I love Mortal Kombat. Honestly, it's the only like DVD of a game adaptation that I have, and I love it. But Street Fighter 2 is just by far so much better.
I'm going to argue against that.
I don't
think
recall, so I'm not the authority of that.
I think the Mortal Kombat movie left more of an impression on people. I think it was more accessible, as opposed to
Chun-Li.
naked. Josh, there have been enough naked anime ladies in this episode.
No, there is not. We need more.
Focus.
This has been the most nipply episode ever.
So I'm trying to get my camera to focus.
I would argue for Mortal Kombat over Street Fighter if we're picking one. Mortal Kombat has that scene where Goro picks up, I forget if it's Jax or Johnny Cage, and he breaks his back and then sucks his soul out.
That is.
And then they've got it's Jax because Johnny Cage fights Scorpion in that Hell Den, and then Liu Kang fights Sub-Zero in like this cave.
Jax isn't until the second movie.
It's not like
It was just a random dude, I think.
It's the stand-in for Jax.
It's probably just
Okay.
a random dude.
Yeah.
And even then, Johnny
And
Cage
Johnny
actually does
Cage
fight.
did the like split to groin punch thing.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
Josh,
I mean, they did all the iconic moves for sure.
Josh, besides the Chun-Li sour scene, what else do you remember about Street Fighter 2?
So there's also the Ken versus Ryu fight scene, and then it turns into Ken Ryu versus Bison fight scene.
You're just playing the greatest hits there, gentlemen or sir. You're picking you're like, oh, what do I remember about Street Fighter in general? I think if you
Nick, it's raining the whole time as they're fighting, and then Ken comes out of his hypnosis and he's like, "What am I doing?" And
it's
then
another
Bison comes in
shower
and says,
scene
"Fuck
for you.
you."
It's another shower. You're like, it's rain. You
I
can't get away
can't
from the
win.
shower scene. You fuck.
I can't win with you.
You know, if we're gonna cut, you know what, we can keep
Mortal
both for now.
Kombat.
I said, "Sounds like Mortal Kombat
All right.
wins." So you guys made your argument.
What about this Castlevania, Josh?
I can't speak to that one. I haven't seen
Haven't
it.
seen it.
It's.
Me neither.
I mean, it's really good. They do a fantastic job of setting
I've
up.
heard nothing but good things
I
about
said they
it.
do a really good.
Is
they-
it animated?
Yes, it is animated.
Ooh.
And they actually just did their spin-off of it. So that's like the sequel to it. So
Kotaku in Action did not like that spinoff, Josh.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Kotaku in Action, they're a bunch of fucking idiots. You don't have to trust them.
But it does such a great job of just setting up not only the series in general, but just honestly, they could do every single game or games, how they want to set it up, and I'd be into it because it's so good.
We got to cut 3 more games or 3 more adaptations.
Yeah.
What about The Witcher? Because technically, maybe it's not a game adaptation because it is the game.
It is from a
an
book.
adaptation of a book.
Yeah, you
That
know
is true.
They do follow the books a little
That-
closer.
That's a good technicality.
Fucking technicalities. What about Pokemon? Was that
Pokemon was a manga first? I'm pretty sure.
really?
I'm pretty sure it was a manga first.
I thought it was a game first, but I thought.
I thought it was a trading card game first.
I thought they were monsters. I thought they were pocket monsters.
I'm looking it up now because I'm curious.
Hmm.
Okay, so no, it did start as the game.
So if we're taking one, I think if we take one of these off, I think it's Detective Pikachu. I think
Against regular Pokemon, I would agree.
Are we talking
in favor of
seasons
keeping
1 through
Pokemon.
3?
In clarification, are we
I'm
talking
thinking
about all of
1998.
Ash's journey, Pokemon? Or
I
are
would-
we
I would-
saying
I would
Pokemon
say-
in like a nutshell?
No, I would argue what I think everyone here that grew up with was what the 1998, 96 and 98, like the
97.
Ash 97, yeah. Ash leaving Pallet Town, meeting Misty and Brock, and that,
So basically
that
everything
series.
up to the that's not Kanto. It's
Johto?
is it Kanto?
It's Kanto.
Kanto, I think, is the first area.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Kanto
I'd say
and then the
that
second area,
whole
which I
section,
forget what it's
yeah.
called. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we keep that over Detective Pikachu.
That's fine. Yeah, if we're gonna
Yeah.
go based off those. That's fine. Anything else past that,
I
I'm gonna
agree.
look at you and call you crazy.
Is there
Okay,
any?
one more?
Because I have yet to see it. Is very new. Is there any recency bias on Fallout? I mean, it just came out. It's in everybody's heads.
I think it's really
I've
good.
heard it's a really good
handful of people.
yeah.
Okay, is it?
I-
I just haven't had a
when-
chance to digest it yet.
When
I
we look
judge it
back-
if it's already got a season 2 greenlit right
Has
off of it. Yeah, it's been
Wow.
greenlit.
I think-
I'd say it has to be good.
I think when we look back 10 years from now, I think that's one thing. That's one series we'll look at and be like, wow. Now I don't know if they're going to stick the landing the whole way through, but like this first season is very good. They catch the vibe of the game so well, and the characters, like, as dumb and dislikable as they are, you kind of care
Yeah.
about them all. Like by the end of it.
And I mean, I'm going to be honest. Between Walton Goggins and Ella Purnell, I've always loved their characters. They do a fantastic job.
You had me at Walton.
I mean, I honestly, when I saw it was Ella who was playing as Lucy, I about cried because I loved her in what's that HBO or Stars show where the plane goes down and they have to live in the woods.
Yellow Jacket.
Yellow Jacket.
Lost.
I loved her on that.
She also voiced Jinx in Arcane.
Arcane. Yep.
Oh yeah.
I don't.
All right. There's one more. I mean, we haven't mentioned Edge Runners because I think we all think it was fairly decent. Tomb Raider hasn't been brought up because I think it did a really good job.
Yes.
There was some contention over the two fighter movies still.
And you guys were all for Mortal Kombat. I'm not saying Mortal Kombat the 90s Mortal Kombat wasn't good. I just think Street Fighter had a more lasting impression on me. Yes, Chun-Li was probably a huge
That movie
factor
got you
in
through
that.
puberty.
From earlier conversations, Jiggle can have a really big impact on your
Yes.
media consumption.
So
You can.
I'm fine with Street Fighter 2 being removed and Mortal Kombat 90s taking the fighter's position.
I think you could take Cyberpunk off. That's my personal thought, because the fact
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Cyberpunk
so.
2077 came in so dirty, and then
Very true.
it kind of became, after it came out and it was all messy, like the campaign to save Cyberpunk, and I think Edge Runners was kind of part of that. And so I don't really think Cyberpunk really had like. I think its place in the zeitgeist was, oh, this sucks. So anything that was a glimmer of good was going to be a lot more renowned.
But look
in
what
the game.
Cyberpunk is now. It's such a better. Like, think about Witcher 3 when it first came out.
Yeah, I
How
don't give a
bad
fuck
was
about where the game ended up.
Yeah.
What
it?
I'm saying is,
I'm just saying. It's now turned. Cyberpunk has turned itself into the newest Doom. And for those who don't understand, anytime a new graphics card comes out or a new CPU comes out that people want to stress test, that's the game they go to.
it's a good-looking game. Some of the best-looking T-poses I've ever seen, Josh.
That's fair.
Yes.
I'm fine with Cyberpunk being removed as well.
Agreed.
It's gone. Now we got 10. 1, 2, 3, 4,
It's 10.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I wanted to double-check just to make sure we didn't overexert ourselves there. If I'm looking at this list, I do think Super Mario's towards the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I really do think they did a killer job on that game. Or on the movie.
And they've left it open for all of their IPs at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Except for Metroid.
That's
probably the only IP that'll never get finished ever.
When they do that Zelda movie in a few years, the end credit scene is going to be Mario like, I want to start the Nintendo initiative, and that's how the Zelda movie will end.
No, you know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be Tinkle. He's in a bar, and he's drinking, and Mario just walks in.
They would put Tinkle in that fucking or Tingle. They would put Tingle in that fucking movie. I forgot about that guy. Thanks for bringing him up.
You're welcome.
That was the little guy from Wind Waker, right?
Yeah, the little. I'll do your maps. Oh, Josh did the wapa. Oh no. Well, let's get these in an order so we don't get out of here. We're all getting a little slack.
All right. All right.
I think Pokemon goes up near the top, honestly.
I agree on that because I mean we're all still singing. We're all singing the theme song, almost
Daily.
30 years later. it was just a really good vehicle for like, oh, you like the games? Well, we're going to use this show to slowly pump out each Pokemon and get you excited for these games.
And it helped kickstart the anime trend that followed right behind Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and all them.
True.
I'm gonna put Fallout towards the top because that the vibe is real on this one. Really, really real.
Yeah.
Again, we'll see if the following seasons do anything to help it out, but really good start to that.
Honestly,
I'd like to see Last of Us or Tomb Raider start heading towards the top.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
Honestly, I would
Last of
throw
Us
in
for
Tomb
sure.
Raider being up there, right behind Fallout. Honestly,
Those
'cause
Jolie movies are really good. Like they catch
they
the time.
they capture
They
it so
really
well.
are. Yeah.
In fact, I'm so convinced that I
Like
think
those games had some crazy moments, and those movies with her had some crazy moments in there. And I
I
think
have
it
to
just,
watch them again, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
yeah.
good. They're over the top.
But still,
Don't get me wrong, but they I think they did a really good
So was
job
the game.
for. Yeah, exactly.
Boom, fucking dinosaur.
fucking dinosaur. I could see Silent Hill bringing up the rear on this. I think it does a really good job of capturing just how creepy the town is. The Pyramid Head scene is still living rent free in my mind. But I think looking at the rest of these, Josh can attest for Castlevania, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter both do some really good things in respect to what they're doing. Best shower scene I've ever seen in an animated movie. I think if we did,
Can we do a top 10
So-
shower scenes animated movies?
Sonic has been rated really well, and it's gotten it's going to have 3 movies and they have a Knuckles series coming out.
which
I mean,
apparently
that launched-
isn't it already out?
yeah, it's out.
It has already come out. Okay.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty
Uh,
good too.
Yes, I mean that reboot of that movie has really kicked off and got Sega back into the conversation.
What do we think of this order? I'm kind of feeling it. Let me read this. Let me read this for the viewers at home, and then we can argue anything that we think needs to be moved. Number 1, Super Mario Brothers 2023. Number 2, Pokemon the series. Number 3, the Fallout TV series. Number 4, the Tomb Raider Jolie movies. Number 5, the Last of Us TV series. Number 6, the Sonic movie series. Number 7, Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. Number 8, Mortal Kombat, the 90s movie. Number 9, Castlevania, the Netflix series. And then number 10, Silent Hill, the movie. First of all, really healthy split of TV and movies here.
Yeah.
Unintentional, of course.
I
I think I'm honestly okay with it. I mean, I would say between like after Sonic and before Silent Hill, it gets like it could be wishy-washy, but overall, I think it's a very strong list.
wishy-washy. Is that you hinting at that you want Street Fighter up a little higher?
No, that's just me saying like we could sit here and probably argue for a little bit of what should be over
No,
what, but it wouldn't really matter at the end of the day because everything else is such a strong fit.
I mean, like 1 through 6 for me could have been in any order. They're so good in their own right for different reasons, but they're all very good.
Yeah.
And the last few, for the same reason, I think they're very close in how they fall.
Oh, it's annoying that it's doing that.
It is, yeah.
I
It's
hate when it does
killing
that.
me.
I'm not going to try and figure that out live. No, I do like this order. I have no arguments. If everyone else is good on this, we can call it a night. This is a pretty good exercise in remembering all the media that we've consumed.
And I'm gonna have to watch Street Fighter 2 later.
Stop. Just stop. All right, final order. Number 1, Super Mario Brothers 2023. Number 2, Pokemon. Number 3, Fallout. Number 4, Tomb Raider, the Jolie movies. Number 5, The Last of Us. Number 6, the Sonic movies. Number 7, Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. Number 8, Mortal Kombat from the 90s. Number 9, Castlevania from Netflix. And number 10, the Silent Hill movie. We did it. Boys and Germs, we did it. We made it to the end of the episode. This one ran a little long. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. You can find me, as always, everybody, at That Kaufman on Twitter, Nick Fat Knight everywhere else. Josh, where can the people find you?
Anywhere, everywhere, and anywhere. And I'm Josh saying, man.
And then, of course,
Ooh.
thank you again to Alec and James from 321 Backlog hanging out with us. Guys, where can the
Absolutely.
people find you? Where are you about on the internet?
Everywhere that you can find podcasts, 321 Backlog. We're on TikTok, X, Twitter, whatever it's called. We have our episodes go out on YouTube. 321 backlog, one word. You can find us every other Monday. It comes out.
What's any exciting backlog games coming up that we're not aware of yet?
We've got in James's favorite genre, we have a worker management game. We got Rise of Industry coming up, followed by Dave the Diver. And that's
Dave the Diver's a good one. Good game.
It is
good
a good
episode.
one.
It is so it is so good. Do you guys prefer the restaurant working or the diving?
You know, there's something really nice about that game is that it gives you just enough of each like segment to make it feel like you're playing something different and new, and it's just long enough to where you won't get bogged down or bothered by a repetitive motion. And I think
Agreed.
both of them are equally amazing. Genuinely.
I like the animated shower scenes the best.
You know what? You're joking, but I'm pretty sure. I don't know. No,
it's how we record, so that's what it is.
And the diving part, I was always surprised that like there was always something new being introduced. I was like, oh wow, like we're still introducing. Wow, I didn't think I was still going to be. They play around with 3D space in a 2D medium very well. Mm-hmm.
So I that game is deceptively amazing, truthfully. So Dave the Diver, check it out.
Surprisingly good boss fights, guys. Thank you again for hanging out with us. Smashing Game Time. Again, you can get us anywhere you get your podcast: Apple, Spotify, YouTube podcast, YouTube proper. Fuck the algorithm, tell a friend. That's right. Word of mouth is king here. Thank you to Alex Marvin Clark for our intro song, intro and outro song, Hunt Him Down. Go check him out. We got a link to the SoundCloud. We'll also have a link to 321 Backlog. Go check their stuff out. Either a link tree or whatever the links are. Go click all of them, you sick fucks. Guys, that is the show. I hope everybody had a smashing... Oh, wow, my brain. Hey, everybody, it's been Smashing Game Time. We hope you all had a smashing great time. We'll see each and every one of you next time.
Woo! That was a lot faster. Damn.